So here you can see it's flawless and it's turned out very nicely. See how smooth it is, and it doesn't have any drips here and there. So I'm not going to paint it on the side. I'm not going to have a golden edge or a colored edge, but just leave it as it is. It looks so pretty as a coaster, and it can also be used as a black. But this is something very awesome. It's beautiful. I'm really very pleased with it. I hope you liked it. You enjoyed the process. This gives everyone more ideas, so we could come up with personalized and some professional coasters that people might like as a gift. Hello and welcome to Resin Radiance. Today I'm making a special piece for a friend of mine. She is a teacher and she has retired after 38 years of dedication. So this is a little tribute to her for all her dedication, for all the minds that she has touched and the young people that she has groomed. This is to you, Flory. So thank you for being a part of this community. I'm going to make a coaster, and this is my coaster, and I'm going to fill it up with the things that are a part of a teacher's daily routine. So I've got some pencils, I've got erasers, I've got sharpeners, I've got these little pegs and thumb pins, and I've got these clips. So beautiful things. So I'm just going to put in these things and make my coaster. I'm going to make this mold by layering it. So for the first layer, I'm only going to mix about 30 ml of resin, and then I'm going to put my little tidbits in it. So let me mix my resin and then I'll get back. I'm using 4 Easy Art resin, and I'm going to mix 20 ml of part A. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. It has a 2-to-1 ratio, and I'm going to make 20 ml of the part A and 10 ml of part B. So let me mix it and then I'll get back. Here I have mixed my resin. I went along the walls of the cup so that the part B doesn't stick to the walls, and I'm just going up and down. This is how I do it, and once I've done it several times, then I just stir it and see if there aren't any wispy streaks there. So if they aren't, then it means that my resin is cured. I'm just going to put it aside. I'm not going to debubble it or do anything. I'm just going to leave it aside and let it rest for a while, let's say about 20-15 minutes, and all these bubbles are going to surface and get dispersed. So I'll just keep it aside. I'll get back to you after 10 minutes. Now my resin has been sitting for around more than 10 minutes, and you can see that it does not have any bubbles in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in my coaster. So first of all, I'll just check for any specks or glitter or debris in it. I'll just check it and then so here I have all my supplies. I've got my pencils, I've got my paper clips, I've got my eraser, and I've got these pegs. Of course, I've got these thumb pins. I'm going to put these up, and I think so my eraser is very thick, so I'll have to just give it a little bit or file it a little bit so that it can fit in it. I also wanted to use a crayon, but I couldn't find the little ones. I could only find the jumbo ones, and they are not going to fit in it. So I just dropped the idea, and of course I'm going to use whatever is available with me and see how it goes. So first of all, I'm going to use these 2 pencils, and I'm going to place them somewhere like this, okay? And after that I'm going to use, maybe I'll use this. I need to file this a little bit, and then I'm going to make it a little bit thin, and then I'm going to put it in. Here you can see I have reduced the thickness of my eraser, and what I did is I sanded it with this sandpaper. It's aluminium oxide sandpaper. It's very rough, so it was easy for me, and I had to do it away from my coaster because I have already put the epoxy resin in it, and if something falls in, then it will be very difficult. So here I have it, and I'm going to put it in. And I wanted to put these sharpeners, but the sharpeners are very thick, and they are going to stick out. So I also tried the smaller one, but this is also quite thick and it's going to stick out, so I just don't want to put in. So here I'm going to write eraser on it. And my writing is not very good, but it doesn't matter. because I'm not used to writing anymore. So most of the time I'm just typing it. So here it goes, and I just put it in between the pencils. And now I'm going to put different colors. So I already have used these. So here I'm going to put this peg here. I just move them around a little bit, and I'll put my pens. So I'm going to place a little pin here. I'll move them around a little bit afterwards. First I just want to place them. I also have this. Oh, this is so pretty. I love this. I hope I can open it and put it. Oh, this is going to stick out if I put it like this. It's so pretty, but it's okay. So I am going to put this, the paper clip, and this is another orange paper clip which I'm going to place it here. So I'll just move them around a little bit so that they look nice. So let's see, this goes there, this goes there. This is too much here, so I'll just push it around, and of course this will come here. I think it looks pretty good. I'll just move the pencils apart a little bit and bring the eraser here, and this also. Just wanted to turn it around. Okay, so there. So here we have it. So I've just put them, leave them. If there are bubbles, I'm going to just spray them. At the moment I can't see any bubbles, but in case after leaving it for maybe 10 minutes, I'll just come back and spray it. I think it's better. After an hour, I'm going to put the top coat, and then of course I'm going to put her name on top of this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to print it on acetate or maybe I'll get a cut out. So let's see. First of all, I just want to give it a top coat so that everything is embedded inside. I just want to embed everything inside. The eraser is quite high. How do I remove it? Okay. I'll just remove it and I'll sand it a little bit more, because this is to the level of the, it's a little bit low. Okay, so I'll see. Here we have it. I'm not going to put anything else in it because otherwise it will be cluttered. I don't want it to be cluttered. I just want it to be a keepsake. Of course, this looks pretty good. So I'll just put everything away and just let it rest for a while. Then I'll be back. Just put my pencils away. Maybe I can use it for something else later on. Maybe I'll make another coaster. But I'm surely going to look for small crayons, because crayons look pretty good. But I did not find them. Now my resin has already started to thicken up. So I'll just leave it. I won't do anything, because then it might leave some marks in it. Here I have my alphabets, and I'm just going to put a few alphabets here and there. So here I'm placing my A here. I'm going to mix in another 100 ml of resin, because the layer that I had put was 30 ml and it's only about 2 mm of the level. So I just wanted to make it a little bit more. Initially I'm going to mix in 100 ml and see how it goes. If it is less, then I'm going to mix in a little bit more. But of course I will also need a top coat after placing the nail. So I'll have to see what the level is. If everything is submerged in it, then I wouldn't have to mix another. Otherwise, I'll have to mix one more so that everything is submerged, and then I'll be able to place the name. I put a very thin layer and put everything inside it and let it cure. I did not allow it to cure. That is the reason it was a little bit like a gel form. And when I put my top layer on it, the pencils and some of the thumb pins, they started to float, and they also started to shift from here to there. So next time if I'm going to do it, I'm going to secure it first with the UV resin, and then I'm going to put the layer on top of. But it's okay, I still have little space. You can see that this is coming out. I don't have a remedy now. I'll try to put another coat on it, and then because I have to put the name here, so I have to cover it anyways. Let's see. I cannot even sand it, because if I sand it, the color is going to go away. So I don't want to sand it, and let's see how it happens. I'm going to give another top coat on it, around 30 ml. I'll give a top coat of 30 ml to it and see if the pencils, they are embedded. I have mixed 30 ml of my resin. It's a 2-to-1 resin again, and I'm going to leave it for maybe 10 minutes for the bubbles to surface. So I'm just keeping it here, and then I'll come and I'll pour it on this. Now I have covered my chopping board, and I've already mixed my resin. This is 30 ml. I don't know how much it's going to take, but I just mixed a little bit, and I'm going to pour it over this, because these pencils, as I told you, that these pencils are sticking out, and this little thumb pin is also sticking out. So I'm just going to pour in a little bit resin and see if it doesn't run over. But I need to cover the pencils. I have to reach to the level, because afterwards I need to stick the name on it, and once I stick the name on it, I should have an even surface. I'm just pushing it towards the edges, and then I'm going to put a little bit more into the center. I'll pour it on the center and see how it is. And I think so this pencil has been, the pencils have been submerged. I don't want to put extra to it, because otherwise it's going to run over the rim and it'll create a mess. So first I'll do the edges, and then I'll see if it still needs a little bit more. I'll pour in a little bit more to it. I had a few bubbles here and there, because last night when I was doing it, I did not spray it. I sprayed it only once, and then after that I did not look at it, and so a few bubbles surfaced here and there, but they are not visible now. There was a bubble next to this blue speck, and there was some in the corner, but now I don't think so they are visible anymore. I have about a tablespoon of resin in it, and I'll just keep it aside. First I'll let it level, and then I'm going to pour a little bit more. There's something, what is this? There was something, just let me clean it. Okay, sticking out here. There's a bubble here, a bubble here. So I'll just spray it a bit. And let the bubbles surface. I'll leave it for maybe 10 more minutes and allow it to settle and level on its own. But I think I can see the pencil coming out from here. It's still sticking out from here. This one has submerged in, but this one is still sticking out. So I need to push that a little bit on the side, or what I could do is maybe I could tilt it a little bit, and because if I put a little bit more, it's going to run over the edges. It does seem that it has covered the whole pencil, but here there is a little spot which is not covered. I'll just put a little bit more, and here too. I'll just allow the resin to thicken up a little bit, and then I'll pour in a few drops here and there. Here I have some bubbles here. I can just leave the bubbles. So I'll just push it at the side at the moment so that I can do the other piece. So here my coaster is absolutely cured. It's solid, and it looks beautiful. Now I just wanted to point out a few mistakes. There are a few bubbles here and there just around the edges, and that was due to I forgot to go along with edges with my toothpick, and that is the reason there are some bubbles stuck to the corners. We have to be very careful around the edges. Here it's not going to show as this is a geode, and we could always file it out or sand it out, but for other pieces which you cannot sand, we have to be very careful with that. And then there were two bubbles, they surfaced, and I did not pop them up because I just left it, and during the night they surfaced. I just pierced them with the toothpick. First I'm just going to smear it a little and then do it. I'm not going to pour the top coat, because if I do pour the top coat, the picture might surface or the name might surface and float. So I'll just leave it, or maybe I could just stick it with the UV resin. I think so that would be a better chance. Now I am going to personalize this coaster for my friend. I have the name printed on the acetate paper. I'm going to show you the process also, how I printed this. Here it is, the UV resin as the back. I'm just pressing it here, and then I'm going to cure it so that it sticks. I hope it works and nothing goes wrong. Here, just leave it for the paper to settle a little bit. It has to settle down, because if it doesn't stick properly, it's going to buckle up from the corners. Because here I was trying it and I did not stick it, and I just did it as a sample how to do it. So this, you can see it wasn't stuck from the back. I did not use the backing tape, so that is the reason it just buckled up from the corner. So I just, yeah, so that's the reason. I'm going to stick it first, and then I'll just UV resin it for 60 seconds. So here you can see it's curing and it looks beautiful. Just look at it in the light, it's so pretty. I just clean my brush because I always forget to clean it. I keep it aside and then I forget, and it stiffens up. So I remember to do it now. So it's the best thing. I'm trying to develop some good habits, you know. So here I'm cleaning it, because then I won't have to buy many brushes. Because sometimes you just use them and you leave them, forget about them, and they get stuck, and then they have no use. So here I'm cleaning it. I've sprayed alcohol in it. Just saturate it with the alcohol and rub it. If you just rub it, anything that is in between the bristles, it's going to come out here. So here you see, it's good. I'll just wipe it out again for any remaining resin that might be there. Here you can see I've applied this name with the UV resin and it's stuck, and now it is very easy for me to pour the resin on it. When I pour the resin, I'll just let it sit for a while so that it becomes a little bit thick, so it won't spill over, because the mold is full. There's hardly any space and it is going to run over the edges. The rims are not visible at the moment. I'm going to allow it to rest for a while so that it thickens a bit, and then I'm going to pour it. Here you can see now my coaster is almost done, and I have also pasted the name. Now I'm just going to give it a top coat, and I have mixed my resin and it's been there for maybe more than 20 minutes. I'll just leave it for a while, maybe 10 more minutes, and it becomes thicker, and then I'm going to pour it in. So here I have already poured my resin, and it has almost covered the whole level. Just trying to go towards the edges so that it doesn't have, I'm just doing it with the toothpick so that there aren't any dry surface, because otherwise it's going to have a double layer. So I'm doing it very carefully with the toothpick. There are some dry portions here. It did not move, so I'm just bringing it from the center just to cover the edges, and then if it is here also, see, it does not touch the edge. I'll just check it with an at eye level. It does. So the edges, some of the edges are quite dry, so I just put just a little bit so that it pushes towards the edges on its own. So just let it move and see. You see how it is moving? Just allow it to move a little bit and see. So here you can see it's flawless and it's turned out very nicely. See how smooth it is, and it doesn't have any drips here and there. So I'm not going to paint it on the side. I'm not going to have a golden edge or a colored edge, but just leave it as it is. It looks so pretty as a coaster, and it can also be used as a, maybe she could use it as a plaque. But this is something very awesome. It's beautiful. I'm really very pleased with it. I hope you liked it. You enjoyed the process, and this gives everyone more ideas, so we could come up with personalized and some professional coasters that people might like as a gift. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the people who might enjoy it, who might find some value in it. So until the next time, bye.